This car wheel hub, although it was just a simple deformation, it also made the wheel rail unusable. In Pakistan, there was no similar model. In order to make the wheel rail consistent with the other three, the owner found a roadside repair shop and prepared to repair the damaged wheel rail and continue to use it. However, they did not have advanced repair technology, and the repaired wheel rail was no different from the new one. The wheel rail in front of him had a pothole on the road, and the tire was not only punctured, but also the edge was broken. The owner was unable to buy the same second-hand wheel rail he was ready to spend. Repair shop for repair. Since the wheel rail is made of aluminum alloy and is severely deformed, it needs to be heated at high temperature by a liquefier before officially starting the repair. The main purpose is to allow the master to use the valve head to knock and shape the torn wheel rail edge to knock it back to its original position. Under the master's skilled operation, the rail was also very quickly returned to its original position. The edge of the pipe has been corrected to be similar to the original height. The torn end face has a relatively long tear, so the master first used a welding saw to weld it with the second part, the original factories. They used aluminum leaf rubber column to make a patch. When the patch needs to be spliced with the broken surface needs to be melted and welded by a saw and a welding saw. Then the patch is quickly spliced in the appropriate position. In order to make the patch conform to the arc of the wheel rail, the angle needs to be slightly adjusted while heating. The master carefully adjusted the gap after positioning and continued to melt and weld with a welding saw until the gap of the splicing is completely covered. When welding this patch, the master not only needs to ensure that the gap of the splicing is completely filled, but also needs to raise the surface of the welding bar to ensure that there is enough space for the subsequent turning pin processing. After the master consumed 20 welding saws, the wheel rail was broken. The handba is flush with the original arc of the wheel rail. The protruding part needs to be cut by a turning tool to achieve the purpose of repairing a smooth and flat surface. Although the surface of the patch of the leaf rubber column is raised, the surface of the turning yarn component is also very rough, which is why the master cuts the inside and outside in the same way. The master's very skilled lathe processing. The welding part is already very smooth. In order to make the wheel track invisible, the master directly scraped a thick layer of tweezers on the surface. Although the edge cannot be smoothed with a scraper, this is not difficult for the experienced. After waiting for the tweezers to completely dry, the lathe cutting can be used to process the uneven surface of the tweezers to be smooth and smooth. This is just a simple operation of the master. In order to achieve the best effective spray painting, they also need to use sandpaper to paint the surface of the tweezers. I didn't expect that the Pakistani master used the same set of operations of the sheet metal worker to repair the wheel track. After the tweezer's surface was skillfully polished, the entire wheel track needed to be repainted. As for the smooth wheel spoke surface, in order to improve the adhesion of paint on the wheel hub surface, the owner asked the master to brush the wheel spoke surface in order to change the wheel hub to a new style. That is, to directly cut off a layer of the surface. The original surface with amplitude is processed into a plane once, which is also the most common way to modify the wheel hub. After the wheel hub surface is carefully cleaned, the entire surface can be sprayed with paint. Although they don't have a high-end dust-free spraying room, the advantage of spraying paint in the open air is that you don't need to wear a mask. It also helps the master to increase the speed of spraying paint. There is a lot of dust on the road. As long as the master sprays the paint fast enough, the dust can't keep up with the speed of the paint spray. The master is operating with his head and face. The wheel track needs to be placed in the oven at this time. The paint on the surface needs to be baked. The liquidator is continuously heated at the bottom. In this way, the paint can be dried quickly. After half an hour of heating, a black wheel track with a high appearance is formed. In order to present the original effect of the wheel track, the master also needs to rebrush the surface of the wheel belly. The purpose is to remove the paint on the surface of the wheel spoke. After processing the edge again, the repair work of this damaged wheel drum is over. In order to prevent the surface of the car pin from oxidation and discoloration, after wiping the surface completely, a layer of varnish needs to be sprayed on the surface of the spoke. So this broken and deformed car wheel drum has been repaired. What do you think of the effect of this repair?